Session. Just making up some PVA bags and rigs before tomorrow. Just going out for a day's carp fishing in the syndicate. Been hearing that the carp are getting back onto the source, so I'm going to be trying those again tomorrow. Just thought I'd take you through the rigs I use and the baits I use and how I make my PVA bags. Alright, let's have a look. Right. I'm now going to show you how to tie a hair rig. First, you want to tie a very small loop in the braid or mono which you're using. Like so. So we go, very small loop there. I then just trim off the tag end there with a pair of braid scissors. Crucial that you use braid scissors. So there we go, very small loop. And then take one of the fox curve shank on hooks that I showed you earlier. Then thread the braid through the hook backwards. So the loop is facing the back of the hook. You then roughly pull that to the desired length of your hair. I want mine for about an inch. So there we go, that's about right. So that much should just about come off the end of the hook. You then take the rest of your hook link and you wrap it round the shaft of the hook. I like to do it 7 times, but it's personal preference really. Anything over 5 is about right. You then take the line, pass it back through the eye of the hook. Like so. A lot of people will just stop there. I mean, that's a perfectly usable hair rig, but to get that kicking effect I then like to do exactly the same thing again. So just take the rest of the hook link again, and just bring it a bit further down shaft, and again wrap it around how many times you want. Like I said, I like to do it 7 times, so 7. Take the rest of the hook link, and again pass it through the eye of the hook and put it through, and then pull it tight. I'll start to just pull it tight. Also then just have to take this and just pull it up a little bit, make it a little bit more neater. And then that has a lovely kicking action, as you might be able to see. Quite difficult to see it without your bait on, but trust me, that'll hook you a lot more fish, especially if you're tying your own rigs and you're stopping at the first stage as I showed you and you seem to be losing a lot of fish. I highly recommend you tie that second stage, as that's caught me a lot more fish. So yeah, the only thing left to do now is to tie a loop on the other end of the hook link. Seeing as this is quite a short one, I won't be using this, so I won't be doing that. That's essentially how I tie my rigs. for carp fishing. Anyway, let's put that into practice and see if we can catch some fish. Right, for my PVA bags I like to use ESP 20mm PVA mesh. Mainly in the winter though, as I like to use smaller sized mesh in the winter than I do in the summer, just simply because the fish don't want quite as much bait. Right, I'm going to show you how to make a simple PVA stick. Here's one I made earlier. It's a small sauce PVA bag stick, just with some crushed sauce boilies and whole sauce boilies in there. I'm going to show you how to make this. Right, very simple. I like to start off making my PVA bags with 2 or 3 10mm sauce boilies crushed up. 1, 2, 3. And before adding any more bait, I just like to use a plunger stick. Just press down with my thumb. Not too hard for your PVA, but just enough pressure. I then like to add 4 more 10mm sauce boilies, this time whole, into the mesh, and then press down again with my thumb. Again, applying a similar amount of pressure. I then like to add 3 more 10mm sauce, again crushing them up. 1, 2, 3. Now when winter fishing, I like to add some of these dynamite baits, swim, stim, betaine and green pellets in a 4mm size. Not many, just grab a pinchful. There we go, and add them to your PVA bag. Then you take the plunger, again like before, push down with your thumb, apply not too much pressure, just enough to compress the bag. I'm not looking for perfect presentation here, I'm just looking for a bag that should explode on the bottom. Again, you pull a bit more PVA off and press down with the plunger again. And there we have it, we have a small bit of PVA mesh dangling off the end of the tube with our bait near the end. Now rather than tying a knot in it now, I generally like to take a pair of scissors and cut about 1 inch above it, like so. There we go. I then like to take my fingers and just press down just above the bait as that shores, to push it down just a little bit more so I can tie the knot. I then like to make a carrier bag style knot where you just cut down the middle of the remaining mesh, take 2 handles as it were, and just spin it a couple of times. Sometimes some bait will fill out, sometimes some bait will fall out, that's nothing to worry about. Then I have to tie a knot with that remaining mesh, a couple of knots, just a couple of overhand knots, 1 and 2. Like I said, some bait will fall out while doing this. Right, so the 2 dots there, I like to moisten the end of one of my fingers with a bit of saliva and just press down on the knot. Not too much, just a small amount of moisture. That then seals the knot. Make sure that isn't going to come down while casting it. I'm not to trim off the tag ends, make it just a little bit neat. Like I said, these aren't the neatest PVA bags in the world, but all I want for them is to explode in the bottom. Now I'll attach that to the rig I made earlier, and we'll have to see how we get on with that tomorrow. Right, I've got the PVA bag that I made earlier here. Just going to place it in the water and we'll see what happens. Right, so the bag will land on the lake bed. The oxygen will start escaping, as you can see the PVA is melting. The contents are starting to remove itself, and there we go, it's exploded. So your hook bait will be sitting right in the middle of all of that. And hopefully the fish will come in rooting around, find your hook bait and you're off. And all those particles you can see moving around in the water, they'll give off a lot of attraction, especially this time of year when oily baits such as sauce don't work as well because of the water temperatures. Those particles will release a lot of smell and a lot of scent out into the water for the fish to home in on, and hopefully they'll find your hook bait. Carp fishing, only here for a few hours. Come up and do session. I saw the weather was so nice I thought come out and give it a go. I've not ranked the chances as too high today. It's got high pressure and a very sunny day. I've never had any carp out of here when it's been high pressure, so you never know the first time for everything. It's fishing the same sort of baits I did last time. I kept my left hand rod on trying source today. I've been hearing that there's been a few fish coming out of here in source of recent, which is the time I bait down here. But I'll give it a go. Got one rod pretty much out in deep water, another 30-odd foot water, and I've got the right hand rod just out in the shallow water in the bay where the wind's blowing into. Pretty much right. As you can see, it's pretty windy out there today, which is quite nice. Made a nice little bit of a chop on the water, which can be quite good for carp fishing. But it's meant I haven't been able to use slack lines today just because it's just not very practical and it's just windy. You get no end of false bites and it gets quite annoying after a while. So I've had to fish relatively tight lines, but what I've done, I've got two back legs on and I'm just winding up tight to them. So you might maybe be able to see that I'm fishing relatively tight lines today. So I'm not sure if that will impede my fishing too much. I'm hoping not, as these fish aren't incredibly pressured here. They're not very riggy. What I mean by that is that they don't spook away, to my knowledge, from tight lines or bold rigs, because I do tend to use quite bold rigs. I don't really believe in fishing too complex rigs on waters that just don't need them, like this one for example, or a river or a drain, because they're the normal places that I carp fish. I don't generally carp fish some of these large carp lakes where fish have been caught hundreds of times before and I've seen no end of different rigs. So yeah, I'm using quite simple rigs that I showed you last night, and I've got both rods on a single PVA bag. My left hand rod I've just got out in the deep water, just out there. So I don't know, I may move the rods about a bit later if the fish start, if I see fish showing in various places around the lake. It's been quite warm today, and I know from being in contact with various people that there have been carp actually on the surface in some lakes around the country today. So I've got a few dog biscuits with me. I'm gonna fire a few of those out in a minute and see if carp can come up into the surface. I'm not too sure about that though. It's still winter, so But yeah, I'm just going to stick with it on the bottom, I think. But oh well, I'll update you in probably a few hours time. Hello, it's come to the end of the session now. And although we haven't had any fish today, I've had a great time. I've only been here for a few hours, but it's just been nice to be out in a bit of sunshine. It's been terrible weather recently, only about 2 degrees for most of the days, but today it's come a bit warm, it's about 10 degrees. And I thought I might get the fish high pressure today, and generally I've found carp don't tend to feed to high pressure. I did put a zig rig out for a little bit and that didn't go off or anything, so the fish weren't in the upper layers. I mean, considering this is relatively cold wind, they may have been on the back of the wind, but I've always found on this lake and from talking to other people that the fish tend to follow the wind, so unless they just weren't in a feeding mood and because of the sudden change in weather they're just sulking on the bottom, I don't know, but we haven't had a fish today. But like I said, I've enjoyed it, and like I said, show you blanks as they make you and me appreciate when we do catch fish a little bit more. But if you're watching it and you're thinking, wait a minute, it's not the end of the video yet, why is he saying you haven't caught any fish? That's probably because I've tagged another session on the end of this video, so don't stop watching yet just because I said it's a blank. You never know, there might be a fish on its way. It's been a beautiful day down here today, about, like I said, 10 degrees. Wind's been a bit heavy at times, gusting to about 15-16 mile an hour. It's tested out my new core and brolly quite well. Just be using that on day sessions and things. But yeah, I don't think the fish are on the source just yet. Probably still on the winter bait. So I did put a pineapple popper out to the left, but don't have anything. I don't know. They might not be in the deep water. They might come out into the shallow water. So there are a variety of things that may have led to us catching no fish today. But oh well, I've still got another 5-10 minutes left of the session, so I suppose there's still time to have one. I've taken the bite lines and everything out. I've just got the rods laying on the bank. But yeah, it's been a great day today. I'm sorry we haven't had any fish, but don't catch fish all the time. Anyway, we'll see you next time in tight lines. Hello, and I'm on the Carp Syndicate for a 48-hour session. Now, in this stage in the evening, I'm fishing 2 different methods. I'm fishing a left-hand rod on the norm to timber sauce boilie bottom bait. On the right-hand rod, I'm fishing a pineapple pop-up, only 10mm, but a fluoro dynamite bait, pineapple and banana pop-up. And I'm just fishing out the zig rig, only about 5 foot off the surface. There's been a few carp running around today on the surface, and it's flat calm, so I've been able to see them. Really wanted to get out floater fishing with the dog biscuits, but because of the ducks I've been unable to do that. Hopefully I'll be able to have a crack at it tomorrow, but ducks are all gone now, so I might give it a go. I'm going to give it half an hour on the left hand rod. I'm going to move it to a spot that I've been baiting up. I just baited up a spot of I don't know, 25 to 50 metres down the bank from me, about 5 foot off some reeds where it drops down to 8 foot of water. So I've baited up a spot there. I'll move that left hand rod onto that. I hope to keep that on there for the night. The right hand rod, when it starts getting a bit darker, I'll change it off the zig, put it on a bottom bait and whack it out so the water changes from about 10 foot to 14 foot. So with this weather as it is at the moment, we probably won't catch any fish at the moment at least, or maybe even through the night, but we can only give it a go. That's all you can do when you're fishing. So yeah, we'll stick at it and we'll see if we can catch anything. Well, I'm here for a 48-hour session, as I said earlier, and I'm carp fishing. I'm gonna really give it a crack. I'm here for 2 nights. Tonight I'm fishing pretty standard, and tomorrow night I might try something a little bit different. I'm on here on my own tonight. I think it's about 4 or 5 o'clock now and there's no one else here, so might be someone else turn up, but I might be on my own tonight. Tomorrow night there's another bloke coming down, so it might be a bit difficult tomorrow, with it being a bit more pressured. But it's been quite sunny recently, it's warmed up, so hopefully I'll get the carp feeding. Don't think we'll get anything to do with days because it's quite sunny. Carp don't generally like to get on the bottom when it's sunny, so they might have to experiment with different tactics. But yeah, I'm here for 2 nights. See if we can catch some. There we go. And there we go. Cracking common. £19 6 ounce on my new PB. Absolutely chuffed. Just screamed off on the margin rod and 2 source boiling. 2 10mm. Not far off my overall goal of a 20, but still not a bad fish. Right. Let's put her back. And I'm into a fish. Just making up a rig, and the right hand rod that I recast into deep water went screaming off. Great feeling. I don't think it's a particularly big fish, just probably a low double. But it's pretty difficult to tell in here. That fish I had on earlier, that 19-pounder, I thought was a very small fish, but turned out as a new PB for me, so I just don't know. This is just sort of plodding around playing, fish catching. Just seen it boil out there. Definitely isn't very big. But oh well, it's a fish. Just took a double 10mm deep water. Just were dropping off for about 20 foot to 30 foot. So these fish definitely aren't up in the shallows. Tend to find a smaller fish in here, just seem to plod around a little bit. Don't take much line. The larger fish do definitely take a bit of line. There's that 19-pounder I had on earlier. Came in close. Loads of line. It's not doing much, just plodding around. Just a little bit. Mirror. Go now. Come on. Definitely all the fish down here, they come nice scrappy in front of the net. Sorry, did not look at that net much. Come on. Got him. Okay, yep, little mirror. There we go. That's my second fish now, first fish of daylight. Just chucked it out, chucked 2 10mm sauce boilies out in 20 odd foot of water, and this little beauty took it. Not very big, just about £12, but still a lovely fish. Right, let's put her back. About 10:30, 11 now. Just saw I had that other fish, that's probably about an hour ago now. And that was on the right hand rod on the method. 2 sauce boilies, 10mm. Stuck the kettle on again now. Warm myself up a little bit. I reckon that fish must I think the fish may be feeding just because of the cloud cover. It's pretty overcast compared to yesterday, and most days we've had this week, which have been clear and sunny. They're probably taking this chance to get their head down. Well, let's hope anyway. So yeah, I've had a couple of fish now, which I'm very happy about. I've just moved the rod back out into deep water again. So you never know, I might even get another one. So yeah, I'll be here till tomorrow, I think probably about the same time as it is now. So probably got another 24 hours left. Let's try and make the most of it and see if we can get a few fish on the bank. But yeah, I've had a couple of fish now, haven't blanked. Had my new PB, so I'm absolutely chuffed with that. Can't go wrong. So whatever happens now happens, and either way it's been a great session. As you can see, I'm in my bivvy. It's just about 8:30 now. It's been dark for a couple of hours now. Had my dinner. Cup of tea there. Just have a look at the bait I've been using today. I've mainly using sauce today. Here you can see I've got a selection of sizes. I've got 15mm there and some 10mm. I've been using the 10mm today. 2 10mm on the hair. See if I can find another 10mm for you. There we go. 2 10mm on the hair. And I've been using method feeder. On the other rod I've been attaching one of these small stick mixers to it. Or a small bag full of sauce boilie, 10mm, and sauce pellets. Really simple stuff. Not overcomplicating anything. There's another 2 blokes on the lake now fishing. You might be able to hear them in the background. I'm on a completely different side to them, so hopefully they won't affect me too much. They put a fair bit of bait in, so I've tried to combat that by putting a bit of bait in myself. I've baited up the margin rod, obviously, the left hand rod, and I've also baited up the right hand rod, and I've also moved that closer into the margin really towards me, so it's just out in front of me. That's probably about 4 rod lengths out to 20 metres out. So just anywhere in that distance really. I've baited up in a line on that rod, so it doesn't really matter where I plonk it, I should be able to get on the bait. I've done that, so in the middle of the night if I need to recast, it's not so much of a problem if I don't get it dead on. Also try to spread out the bait. I like to spread out the bait because it then means that the fish don't concentrate on one single area, and generally you can pick up more fish and better fish by doing that because it keeps them in the general area and feeding and trying to find food for longer. So yeah, that's what I've done. Like I said, it's about 8:30 now, so probably get to bed now, get some shut eye hopefully, and hopefully be woken up by a screamer. I didn't have a run yesterday last night until about 4 o'clock in the morning, so I could be in for a long wait, or we could have nothing at all. You never know. If I don't have anything more, I don't really mind too much. I've already had 2 fish, so that's good. So I haven't blanked. And I've had a PB as well, so you can't be disappointed with that. £19. So yeah, not too far off the 20 mark. That's my ultimate goal this year, try and get 20 out of there. So yeah, I'm quite happy about that. Just £1 more is all we need now. But the clocks go forward tonight, so when it turns midnight it'll actually be 1 o'clock. But it won't matter too much because the sun will still come up at the same time and everything, so we'll still get the fishing in. But anyway, yeah, we'll give that a go and I'll see you later, and hopefully with a fish. Right, it's come to the end of the session now. Just come down the shallow end of the lake. I've seen fish rolling here, well, for 2 or 3 days now. You can't really ignore signs for too long, so I've just come and chucked a couple of baits in, a couple of PVA bags, about 30 boilies around each spot. You never know, I might get one last gasp of fish before the end. You can hear the other 2 anglers still here, chatting away. So yeah, fishing real set lines, open bail arm, everything. Got alarms on silent. I've just got the receiver in my pocket on vibrate. Make as little noise as I can, that's why I'm talking quietly. Anyway, yeah, it's been a great session. I had just 2 fish. I'm very happy about that. Probably not the most productive 48-hour session I've ever done, but oh well. Anyway, I'll see you next time, and tight line.